Good morning. From my heart to yours, welcome. I can only assume that if you've entered into this space, that you are yearning for some sort of relief. Through this journey we call life. I invite you to join me by taking a few deep breaths. Relaxing into this meditative space. Allowing the heart to open and soften. All aspects of your being are most welcome here. In today's transmission, I wanted to talk to the nuts and bolts of the ceremonial healing service that has been created as a weekly offering, and to explore more what that actually entails. And it begins with a single concept. The idea that the fundamental law of life on this planet is the law of change. That from the moment from birth to the moment of death, there is this roller coaster of flux and impermanence, experiences of gain and experiences of loss, that we are required to navigate and move through. And it is not the fact that we have these experiences that we must bring those into our ceremonial healing space. But it is the fact that we often develop these ego structures that we use to try and buffer and navigate our way through life. A shield of protection to create some sort of stability. Or else these ego structures are just things that are formed once we become entangled in the fluctuating nature of our experience. The veil of suffering that we humans often bring to our experience on this earth. Because we lack the wisdom, the training, the education of how to meet life skillfully. How do we calm the nervous system out of its flight and fight response? How do we thrive on this planet? For ourselves, for our families, for our community, and for our world. And whilst these ego structures may have served us in that moment, the story we create to move through our experience, often those structures in time become a weight upon our shoulders. They stop us moving down the river of life freely, joyfully, with an open heart and a curious mind. We become worn down and lose that sense of courage and adventure and playfulness here on this planet. We become entrenched in our patterns and our conditionings, and in the structures we build around our own hearts. And so this is the altar that we enter, and the invitation is there to begin to put down what we can at that altar, to offer it. For it was never designed that way, for us to carry these things from birth through to death, to only find our freedom when one exhalation ends and no inhalation begins. We can find freedom without having to die. It's only a breath away. No matter how dense or entrenched you are, or we are, in our self-structures, we are only ever one breath away from freedom. But to receive that, we must offer all that we are holding on to. Even the good in our lives that we hold on to. The memories of nostalgia. They too can be offered and open us to a more expansive possibility in the here and now. And in this ceremonial healing space, I intend to touch upon some of those experiences that are universal in nature. Experiences that tend to conjure up a strong self-structure to navigate through them. Experiences that we struggle to digest and assimilate and integrate and move through serenely, gracefully. with ease. These are experiences that are seen as tests on the road of life, forks in the road that we all come to in some manner or form along the way. Do we rise and thrive through those experiences? Or do we become burdened by the baggage of them? And so that is what this space is, a chance to offer what we are holding on to lay it down, and so invite in the one who would gladly take it from us. There has to be a faith and a trust that there is something beyond what we may perceive in this earthly realm. A faith that there is a divine force, a faith that there is a journey of homecoming that we are on, returning back to a wholeness and the essence of light, and that there are forces there that wish to support us in that. That if we place something on that altar, that it will generate a response of encouragement and release and relief. And it is not only our personal experiences through birth to death that are generating this roller coaster ride. We must begin to understand that we are at a point in history, in our civilization, where that change is accelerating and growing in intensity. The push for us to transform and evolve as a species is growing ever more urgent. It is becoming more apparent that time feels like it is speeding up. That what was only a day ago feels like it was an hour ago. That what was a week ago feels only like it was a day ago. And one way to understand that is that even though on the surface things may seem quite constant and linear, but deep beneath the surface there is a lot of influx of energy and light and pressure coming onto this planet that we are being asked to digest and assimilate within our nervous system. And it is like reaching lunchtime and feeling like you're still full from breakfast, even though breakfast was many hours ago. And that is why time feels like it is speeding up, because we are struggling to digest the vast quantity of light that is pouring onto this planet. And that is why having less baggage, having less burdens, helps us to digest what is happening in the collective far easier. The more that we can place on this altar, let go of, the more we will be able to navigate through to the new world that is wishing to be birthed here. This great pressure and push for change. May we all rise and thrive in response to that call. And that is why I have set up this ceremonial healing space right now. As an invitation, as an opportunity to enter and to place something on that altar each week that liberates us, frees up space within our system to stretch and move. And my last message today is to do with the wild places of this world, the places of nature, and the importance of nature in this work. For in the natural world, if we enter it, we discover that she knows how to move through change with serenity. It seems to be only the human species that develops these buffers and structures and layers of protection. In nature, we learn how to be naked. And in a space of non-resistance, in the face of change. And so I am sitting out in nature because that is the vibration that we must enter. And I call her in to support and guide us, teach us how to be in right relationship with the fluctuating nature of natural law. And there is a poem by Wendell Berry, The Peace of Wild Things, that came up on my feed this last week or so, that struck a chord and spoke to. And I just want to finish this video today by offering that poem. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world, and am free. Thank you for joining me today. May we be naked and free, as we were born to be. That is my invitation and my hope through this weekly service, shedding layers and layers, returning us to innocence, our natural state of being. Blessings, dear one.